scales all the way down. Even a level 2 saver who buys a single index fund has, in a small way, started to own assets instead of only earning wages. The direction level 5 points in, away from trading time for money and toward owning things that grow on their own, is the correct direction at every level. The top 1% did not discover a secret. They just took the most ordinary financial principle there is, ownership, and ran it further than everyone else. So let's pull all 5 levels together, because the most valuable thing in this video is not any single level. It is the pattern that runs through all of them. Look back at the whole staircase. Level 1. Living on the Social Security cliff with nothing underneath it. Level 2. The median retirement, comfortable enough to be grateful for and tight enough to fear. Level 3. The first real breathing room. Level 4. The work optional tier where money stops being a worry. Level 5. The generational tier where money outlives the owner. 5 completely different versions of the same chapter of life. Now here is the thread. At no point in any of this did income decide the outcome. We started with Dave and Mike, 2 men with the same job and the same paycheck who landed on opposite ends of this staircase. We saw 2 workers earning an identical $55,000 retire $1 million apart. We saw James reach level 4 on an upper middle income that on paper should never have produced $2.4 million. Income is the raw material. It is not the result. The result was always built by behavior. And the behaviors are not complicated, which is the genuinely hopeful part of this. Start early so compounding has decades instead of years. Automate it so the decision gets made once instead of fighting your willpower every single month. Push your savings rate toward 15% and beyond. Stay invested through the scary years instead of selling into fear. Refuse to let your lifestyle swallow every raise. Use the tax-advantaged accounts the system is openly offering you. Walk into retirement without consumer debt dragging on your income. That is the entire list. Not one item on it requires a high salary. Every single one requires a decision, repeated. Which means the real answer to the question in the title is this. You are not permanently headed for any one of these levels. Your level is not assigned to you. It is the running total of your current behavior, and a running total can be changed. The person watching this at 30 who adjusts course now has time to climb 2 or 3 levels. The person watching at 45 can absolutely move up. Even the person watching at 55 with less saved than they'd like can meaningfully change which level they land on. The median retiree did not choose to have $185,000. They chose a series of small, daily behaviors, each one reasonable on its own, that quietly added up to that number. Different behaviors produce a different number. That is not a motivational slogan. It is just arithmetic. So now you can see the 5 levels clearly, you understand the habits that move a person up the staircase, and you understand that your trajectory is still in your hands. But there is a piece this video did not cover. And it is the piece that determines almost everything. Knowing the habits is not the same as keeping them, because at every single stage of life, there is a specific, predictable financial trap waiting, and each one is designed to knock a person down a level without them noticing it happened. The trap in your 20s that quietly steals your most valuable compounding years. The trap in your 30s that disguises lifestyle creep as success. The trap in your 40s that creates a brutal financial squeeze in the exact decade you needed to be building the most. The traps in your 50s and 60s that can undo decades of good work right at the finish line. Dave didn't end up below Mike because he didn't understand saving. He ended up there because he stepped into those traps, 1 decade at a time, and never saw the pattern. If you want to actually reach the level you're aiming for, the next thing to understand is the full map of those traps, age by age, so you can see each one coming before it costs you. I've broken every one of them down, every financial trap at every age, in another video on this channel. Honestly, that one is the place any real financial journey should start, because it is far easier to avoid the traps than to climb back up after one of them pulls you down. Watch that next. Then come back and decide which level you're building toward. I'll see you there.